the ultimate. Can't fuck with it. The ultimate.
This is Constant Elevation, the show for rising military and community leaders that isn't waiting for the future, we are defining the future. I'm your host, Gabriel Gabe Rockavilla, and you already know, can't stop, won't stop.
The ultimate.
3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? You are watching to the Constant Elevation podcast. I'm your host, Gabriel Gabe Rockavilla. Hope you guys are doing well. The middle-ish portion of this August. All kinds of crazy weather going on here in Maryland. And sometimes it's hot. Sometimes the storms come through, scaring my dog, Sally. This week has been a little bit cooler. So it's been kind of nice being able to do some outdoor runs and trying not to die when I'm doing wall walks and heavy thrusters at Revival Fitness. But it's all good part of the training week, and I'm looking forward to going towards the end of the week and moving into another weekend. So this week is going to be... August has been rough. Wife Gina and I were talking about this last night. August has been a rough month for the Avila Ohana in general. That's what I want to talk to you about this week and how some context. Here's some stuff that's been going on. So if you've been paying attention to the last couple episodes, for me professionally at work, so adjusting to new teammates that I'm working with, and that's had its ups and downs, and I'm still processing some of those events as they keep on going, because other events have happened since then, and I just got to keep on going. It's okay. Then my daughter, so she originally thought that she's still doing an online high school. So she actually attends Arizona State University Digital Prep. And she thought last year when she signed up, she signed up for fall session 2, which starts in September. And then we got her re-signed up for this year. And then come to find out, when you get re-signed up, you automatically get bumped to fall semester 1, which actually starts at the beginning of August. And so she was not ready for that. She essentially lost 30 days of her summer and working, and then now is neck deep into all of her advanced classes and her senior seminar. It's been really cool. They have a class that teaches you about how to apply for college, applications, FAFSA things, how to experience dorm life and stuff like that. So I'm very happy that she's starting. She was not prepared for any of that 30 days early. And then last week, so my son Benjamin, he's been actually this is his first attempt to try out for high school sports. So he's a rising freshman, and he tried out for JV and varsity football, JV and varsity soccer, and 63 boys tried out for 45 slots at 2 levels of cuts, and he did not make the first cut. And so he had to deal with that. Some other background, I think the majority of the cuts were actually freshmen. And so it is what it is. But I don't want to say he was working hard. He worked medium in order to prepare for that. And that's a separate kind of story. But, he was really bummed out on last Friday. So last Friday ended up being a really hard day for the Avila Ohana. We gathered together doing the family dinner, kind of talked through our feelings and stuff like that. It's been rough. And so for me, and what I want to share with you, I was listening to a different podcast, and it talked about how people, specifically was talking about younger men. But I think this principle, I heard this phrase, and I want to talk about it. It's going to be the title of this episode. So it's reflect, release, reset. And I feel like it was a really good 3-step process to kind of deal with when you're going through something rough in life, how you can I'll share with you what I do and how I approach these kind of things when sometimes it just feels like the cards are stacked against you, or like a lot of times it's just piling on. You don't realize you're getting hit like from numerous angles as far as kind of some rough patches in your life, and we're all going to experience those. And so I think the best thing you can do is try to figure out how to sharpen up your tool set to make sure you're prepared to have because they will happen. So what you can control is how you respond to them. So first one is going to be reflect. Hold on a second. All right, so I had to go grab something. So the reflect piece for me is something that I've been slowly but surely coming up with my routine, and it starts every single morning. And this is my reflection time. So we'll just say that something challenging or negative happens in your life, and then you're going to have to start processing your thoughts and how you're going to deal with the situation. So reflect. What I do, I have a standard process every morning, especially during the duty day. Maybe not on the weekends, but definitely during the weekdays. So I wake up, whatever time I have to wake up. It adjusts because if I'm going straight into work, or I have to coach before I go into work. And I have my routine of getting my breakfast together. I already have my pre-made meals. Shout out to, if you remember last week, Taylor and I were talking about meal prepping, and so like that I take advantage of that. I have most of my stuff prepared. Maybe like 20%. I have to make my coffee. I heat up coffee from my thermos, and then I have to, while I'm drinking a cup of coffee, while I'm prepping all my stuff. I take some vitamins, take some emergency, and I have my whole deal of just kind of getting my food ready before I head out the door. Then I actually sit down and do some meditation. I do some breathing exercises, some meditation exercises. If you're interested in, just let me know, drop a comment below, or you can send me a message. I'll tell you the specifics of my practice. But what I also do is I have my bullet journal. So this is my almost done bullet journal. I'm actually starting another one. I'm almost finished with this one, so I'm starting a next one in September. And I make these last about like a year. So this is, I think, the third year I'm going into doing bullet journal practice. So after I do my meditation, I actually just sit and write some of my thoughts. I think about like what am I going to be, what I want to accomplish during the day. There's some checklists out there and lots of notebooks that kind of walk you through these things. Mine is freeform. I just kind of let my thoughts, what I'm feeling in my heart, what I'm feeling in my mind, what things are going through, how do I want to prepare for, and they go all over the place. It could be about work. It could be about my own personal things. It could be about my family. It could be about finances. Just whatever's happening, I just kind of let my thoughts kind of flow through my mind and make sure I'm aware of them because I want to reflect on them. And then I write down my thoughts in my journal, and then I carry on with the rest of the stuff that I'm going through the day. So part of that is reflecting, is taking deliberate time to just think about and recognize your emotions, recognize your feelings, because some of the things they're going to reveal that maybe they're way more important to you than you initially thought. And just kind of, as you have that quiet time, and I love doing it in the morning before I do anything else, because I have that quiet time to myself, and I could just kind of process my own thoughts, and reflect exactly where's my mind going? What do I want to do with this information? And then most of the time I formulate some sort of plan, or do I need to go talk to Gina? Do I need to talk to my teammates about something? Like, I have additional thoughts where I want to go, but I have deliberate time to reflect and quietly just kind of listen to my thoughts and see where my mind is going. Then the second part, would be release. So this part is interesting. This is part where this is assuming that you have some action plan, or you're going to be doing something, or potentially that you don't do anything. Maybe like something bad happened to you, and you just got to let it go. A mentor of mine mentioned to me that it's only baggage if you choose to carry it. And I thought that quote, when she told it to me, was very, very poignant. I was like, because a lot of stuff's been weighing heavy on my mind lately, and she's like, don't let it weigh you down. It's only going to weigh you down if you choose to carry it. And so there's some nuances with that kind of thing. I'll talk about that later. But the idea of release, right? And so as release could be just where you're putting something into action, you're no longer in the dwelling state of just kind of in your thoughts. It's actually transforming into action or inaction. You're going to positively say, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to try and fix a situation. Or potentially the option is you're going to do nothing, and then you're just going to release it. I mentioned on my how my first impression went sideways. Part of my release is it's a follow through, right? I reflect initial thoughts in my bullet journal, and then eventually part of my release practice now is actually sharing my stories with you on this podcast. I share these stories as well in the workplace or in the gym, wherever it is, for the people that I trust to share my thoughts and my feelings with. Different levels, obviously. Like, I only share very much certain things with my wife because that's appropriate only for her, and then other stuff with my teammates. But like, for the most part, and my teammates kind of generally know this, I'm fairly open book about how I carry myself. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and so part of my release practice is having to talk about it. And so that was kind of the genesis of this podcast, part of the genesis of this podcast, and just kind of how I operate as a person. Because it's important, and I don't have these conversations necessarily to have anyone confirm exactly what I'm saying. I'm not looking for external confirmation. I'm just getting the energy. I'm releasing it. I'm getting this energy out of my system because something is happening to where this is not necessarily going to help me to retain this energy or retain these thoughts or feelings. So I have to figure out a way to positively release it. Another way, obviously, that I do is I go to work out. My fitness regime is very much an important piece of my release. And so sometimes that means going for a hard morning run in the morning, or going for a run on the Navy Bridge like I did with my friend Josh. Shout out, Josh. It could be a hard CrossFit workout, going to my buddy's house, Bodie, on the weekend to go do some freaking stuff that I don't want to do, but he makes me do, and it's fine. So like those kind of things, I'm okay with. I know that's an outlet for me. Sometimes another one doesn't have to be as intense. It's just walking my dog. taking my Sally for a walk around the golf course, whatever it is. I just kind of let that energy release itself just for some low impact walking. I really, really enjoy walking. And so while I don't enjoy it when it's this freaking hot outside, but that's beside the point. The idea of just figuring out what you release. So you individually, I tell this all the time, you individually have to understand what is that release. Potentially it could be additional journaling, maybe journaling. Maybe it's your creative type, you like to paint, or you like to sing, or you like to go for a hike, or you like to go rowing, or whatever it is. Any kind of positive activity where you can release this energy because you don't necessarily need to let it weigh you down anymore. So that's going to be the release piece. Final piece is going to be reset. So this is the part that like I really have, as I continue to evolve as a leader, I'm making sure I'm more cognizant of this. What I mean by this, I don't want my experiences to make me get really stubborn about who I am as a person. Stubborn is the key word, because I think stubborn is when you are closed-minded to actually growing as a person and as a leader, as opposed to, you can call it, I forget what it is, a fixed mindset. If you're in a growth mindset, then you would actually be open to, okay, there's some kind of knowledge. You got to figure out exactly what this is that happened in your life that's going to make you a better person. And so that's the reset. In other words, you're going to shift or adjust something of your own personal behavior or mindset that you have to find something to pull out of it. So even if negative things are happening for you, for instance, if you see a negative example of a leader and you get affected by that, the reset portion potentially for you is you now understand this is an example of a leader I don't want to be like. And that's value added, right? You can still pull out something positive of that negative experience and making sure, but you're resetting your mindset. In other words, you've released it. You're no longer letting it, you're not going to hold a grudge or anything like that. You're just kind of fine tuning your behavior, hopefully, and your thinking to be like, all right, cool. I just want to be like, maybe in this situation, I want to make sure I behave in this manner. You're not going to necessarily be fake about it by any means, but you need to adjust to make sure you're reducing your attack surface, to be honest. But like, you're still retaining your true genuine self, retaining your true authentic self. And that's very, very important. So you want to make sure that like you find the reset piece is, and it sounds kind of hokey, but like it is, it's the whole finding the silver lining in a dark cloud, or finding the positive things you can take away from it. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to keep on moving forward. If you let things weigh you down, you don't take the time to reflect and really process some of the ideas and thoughts and feelings going through your head, you're going to miss an opportunity. If you don't release it in a positive manner, you're just going to let it weigh you down. You're holding this baggage for no reason, and it's going to not only weigh you down, but potentially weigh your family, your teammates, the mission, all those things. You don't need to let that happen. Those time frames vary between all of us, right? It varies between how you're able to deal with it individually based on your experiences or how severe any experience could be. And also exactly your self-awareness and your tools of how you can know how to release it, right? And so those time frames exist. I'm not saying this is like a 48-hour turnaround. It all depends. It's all case by case. But finally, the reset. The reset is the thing I'm trying to make sure I always remember that, like, I'm going to learn from this. What parts can I pull out that end up becoming a learning experience for me? And I can always look back I will try to look back as much as possible as a positive experience. I can look back in my bullet journal and it is interesting when I go back in there and I look at like, ooh, that was a negative thing that I forgot how crappy that I felt on that day or whatever it was. But like, I kept on going. The world's going to keep on turning. And so I gotta, regardless of that individual situation, I have responsibilities and I have my interests that I want to make forward progress on. And I'm not going to let these situations necessarily weigh me down. Because they just could be one-offs. It could be just to be circumstantial. They add to like the fabric of your career and your experiences. And so use them. That's the whole point of the reset, is use it to your advantage. So in summary, reflect, release, reset. I really thought those 3 steps are very simple, but a very powerful way that we as constantly elevating leaders, that we can actually become better out of any given situation. So team, I hope that this knowledge ends up being good for you. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave them in the YouTube episode below, or you can just get at me through the Constant Elevation website, constantelevation.co. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon next week. Peace.